Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend, and I am back. It is Sunday, January 2nd, 2022. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and just make the list while I'm waiting for some people to pop on here. I hope everybody is well. Hold on just a second. Let me type these and think. Yada, yada. There we go. Just waiting for everybody to jump on. It's 4 o'clock, right? We're here. We're live. I am Annalisa. This is my baseman. Happy New Year. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while since we've seen you here. You pop in occasionally, right? So, don't drink yet. I am Annalisa. This is my spiritual friend. I am a psychic medium, spiritualist reverend, energy healer, mom, used to be a nurse. I do these readings live every Sunday. They are going to now be $12 a question. Today is 100% going to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey because for every dollar, it provides 3 meals through them. And last year for 2021, we donated enough money to provide for 6,813 meals. I don't know why I went to the 13, but sometimes it's like a dollar or I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so that's amazing. That's why I do this. Starting next week, we'll go back to 30%, but the questions will be $12. Um, so I still do here on Basement asked if I could explain my process of reading. So you'll donate $12. That'll cover one question, but there is some like back and forth and clarification and everything like that. So I did raise the price because I've been doing this for so long. And a dear friend of mine was like, you are giving your abilities and gifts away for free because I do donate a portion and then PayPal takes out a portion and I donate the money without the PayPal, all of that stuff. So it's from the or from the amount of money, not from the money that I get after PayPal takes its hit. Um, so anyway, that's that. And then my private readings are a little bit different. So here I have you ask a straight question and I answer it because it's just quicker. But in the private readings, I connect in with your energy. I give you everything that I get on your energy. And then I say, do you have any questions? And a lot of times, because you've sat down and either written your questions ahead of time or sort of focused your energy, I don't know the questions ahead of time. I don't want to know the questions there. Then the questions get answered when I read your energy. That's that. I am starting a new psychic development circle starting January 11th. It's Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. And they last about an hour and a half. They are limited to 10 people. There are still spots available. You learn how to connect them with your own intuition. I teach you how to develop your language. That's all intuition is creating a new language for you to connect with your higher self, your guides, the divine universe, all it is, source, whatever you want to call it. It's not scary. It's a super comfortable, easygoing, natural thing to do. And I help you do that and provide a safe space for that. And I kind of coach you along the way. And I've had really wonderful success with it. A lot of people that have come in as complete newbies, have never given a message before, are able to give messages. Hello, Rakdan. So none of you are new here that I can see in the chat, but if you are new here, please like and subscribe. And this is a really lovely community. I am going to get back to doing my manifesting chats during the week. It's just been a little crazy the last few weeks, and I'm trying to find my center. And part of when I get really stressed out or like things get a little chaotic, I sort of have to pull back my energy that I give to you guys. I'm on TikTok and I'm doing a series there right now. That's a self-care series for highly sensitive beings, highly sensitive people. So if you're here, you're probably a sensitive being because you're connecting and opening up to this. Don't tell yourself you're not. I promise you probably are. So you should check that out. I'm on Instagram. I do post my TikToks over on Instagram, but I'm trying to grow my TikTok. So if you would check it. All right. So shall we get started? I don't know if KK, if you're here, if you are, thank you for being here. I got to do a really I'm in this women's empowerment circle. It's hosted by Dre. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart. Why am I having a brain fart? B. Oh my god. Benda Wild. Her first name is Andrea Benda Wild, but she goes by Dre. Anyway, she is amazing, and it's not for men, unfortunately. But if you're a woman and you want to join it, I highly, highly, highly recommend them. I've been doing these since June, and they have been really transformative for me, and they're very helpful for me to find my own center as well. Should we get started? Sure. I'll check. So I'll give you the link for um that right? Yes. Anna Lisa. That should work. Yes, it's now $12. Okay. Please like, please subscribe, share me with your friends, all of that. Let's get my channel a little bit moving a little faster. Y'all can do this. Okay, so Devery, if you're here, you're up first. I will check PayPal. Okay, I'll double check Mallory. Yeah, I did mention last week I was gonna go ahead and just increase the prices this year. I Mallory, I don't know why, but I didn't see your payment. Let me double check. Mallory, I don't have any payment for you. So all I have is Devery, Rachna paid 10, Linda, Allie, and then Albert, I got you over on Venmo. You might not have hit accept, but see, like, so when you're like, oh, I can't believe I didn't do that, but look at it, saved you. You can go back and switch the payment. It's no big deal. No apologies necessary. Everything happens perfectly as it should. Okay, so Debbie says, in my mind, I didn't make the right decision. I feel like there's another part to this. But in my heart, I feel like I did work wise. Just want to know, should I stay work I'm at or go to the new home I signed for? Wait, there's 3 options? I just wanna make sure I'm understanding this. So stay where you're at work-wise? Okay, Rachna, I'll check it. Just give me a second. Do you mind clarifying that, Devry? I'm sorry to bother you with that, but I just wanna make sure because they sort of seem actually, like, sort of separate, like, one is work and 2 are home. You signed a new lease, and I'm worried about the financial wise. Okay, so let's look at that, and then we'll, like, kinda break down that the way that is. They're bringing me to your work stuff first. So, I'm looking for my rock. Where's my rock? I'm lost without you. Oh, well, whatever. We'll use a different one. We'll use my Oralite 23, which is apparently a special Canadian amethyst. It might just be regular amethyst. It's from Canada, and supposedly it's only mined in this one area of Canada, and it's supposedly I say supposedly, like, supposed to help balance your chakras or balance your energy the way sort of like kyanite does. Um, and if it's just regular amethyst, well, I didn't pay that much for it, so we're good. Hi, Deborah. It's good to see you. Are we doing the are you the Deborah that is on to do the spiritualist church? What do we call it? A seance with me in March? Oh, you just emailed me. Okay. um okay, should you back out of the lease, stay where you're at, or go to your aunt's? So Oh my god, I have to tell you this really quick. Um, I Okay, you just emailed me. Oh, fantastic. I'm so excited to do that circle with you, that seance with you, Deborah. If you guys ever want to check out and see me and Deborah do a live seance, which is like a message circle, but you get to see us on Zoom. We do them, the church, the Spiritual Church of New York City, does the Zoom circles like twice a month, I think, on Monday nights. And I think they're $20. But if you go to the Spiritualist Church of New York City's website, you can sign up for them. And I think it might be through Eventbrite or something like that. And we'll be doing that in March, on March 28th. And Deborah is lovely, and you would really like her. So um, I'm obsessed. And then I'm going to get to that. I don't know what. Okay, I'll tell you about what I'm obsessed with in a second. Okay. Um, The first thing I have to say is this: when you say, like, my head is telling me one thing, my heart is telling me other, your heart is your intuition. Your head is going to be your lower, naggy, nervous, freaking out self. Um, this is probably not what you're going to want to hear, but I feel like you should stay where you're at. And the reason I feel like you should stay where you're at is because um, they're making me feel like this habit of like constant move, constant change creates more chaos for you because calm feels uncomfortable because it's not what you grew up in. I just keep feeling stay where you're at. The new place is nicer, it's airy, it's light, it's sunny, it feels energetically better than where you're at. And I do feel like you'll be able to financially afford it, but I feel like it's gonna be a little tighter, like, it's gonna be a little bit closer to paycheck initially, and that's gonna leave you feeling so anxious all the time that that, like, energy of feeling lighter and brighter and better sort of kinda gets, like, washed away. So they're sort of making me feel like the place where you're at, it feels more confined and a little more energetically stuffy, but it's like, open the windows, let the air out. I was watching this Instagram thing, and it's like a woman who now lives in Germany, and they have something in their lease clauses where it says they have to open their window. And I don't remember the German name for it or word for it, but they have to open their windows twice a day. And it's to let like all of the like stale air out so you don't get all the musty smells and things like that in the house. But energetically, this sort of makes sense, right? So when you do a clearing of a house, if somebody doesn't have any sort of respiratory issues or allergy issues, I'll use a sage smudge stick, which is the sage leaves, dried sage leaves. If they do, I use make a sage spray because there's still ways to clear it, and I use like filling it with light and all of that stuff. But you open the windows to let the air out, to let the things out. So it just feels like you need to be opening your windows. And I know it's wintertime, so, you know, 5 minutes, because even in Germany, they're like, we have to do it for a few minutes. So like the woman said, like in the winter, I open them just for like 5 or 10 minutes. I understand that. So I don't feel like this is a forever. I feel like it is temporary. But again, it's your choice, right? So if you're feeling that, like when I say that, if that sits in your gut, like then go with that. Listen to that. Because my job here also is to teach you how to connect with your own intuition so that you don't feel like I need to rely on somebody else to help me. Like this is all, everybody has all this. Everybody can connect with all of this. This is not anything that's so far out there. That's why I do these psychic development circles, because I want you to understand that it's very natural to connect in with your intuition. It's very normal. This is something everybody can do. It does take practice. It does take intention and curiosity and being a little brave because it feels a little uncomfortable at first, but you can do this. So if when I say to you, you should stay here, if you're like, and your stomach gets tight and yucky, that's not what you're supposed to hear. You're like, Anna, you're the psychic though. You're connected in. Sometimes, even when I ask someone else that I know that's psychic a question, and if I feel like that's like, "Ew," it's not because they're wrong. It's because my guides want me to hear it so I can learn to start to trust my own intuition. So I go, "Oh, no, that's not right." So, like, I've had people get offended, like, "Well, why are you telling me? Why are you asking me if I'm wrong?" I'm like, "It's not because I think the answer that I needed wasn't because I want you to be wrong. It's because I need to hear it to dig into my own intuition because I can't hear it clearly on my own at this moment." Thank you, Deborah. I think you're fabulous too. um, so that's that. So how does that make you feel in your gut, Jeffrey? You've been here with me, and I know you're also a very sensitive person, and there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. Let's own our sensitivities because our sensitivities allow us to be more empathetic and compassionate and caring, and um, so it's okay to be really sensitive. So, but I just want to know, how does that feel in your gut? It makes me sad and confused, but I still feel I want to go. Okay, so then go do it. Like, if that makes you feel not good, that means it's not in alignment with your higher self. It's not in alignment with your intuition. Your intuition is your higher self, right? It's not in alignment. So maybe what you're getting from this here today is not so much like Anna is God and all connected all into, whatever. Like, I'm connected in, and I'm also like a conduit of the message. And sometimes the message isn't like Anna's going to tell you everything the way it has to be. It's like Anna's going to teach you how to connect in with your own intuition and learn what it feels like and learn how to like understand it and develop your own language. If something is making you feel sad and not good, that's not part of your higher self. Maybe part of your connecting in here and finding me isn't so much about getting all the answers from outside of yourself, it's learning how to find them within yourself and your own experiences. How do you know when the universe is talking to you? You get repetitive messages over and over and over. So something that happened for me today is I keep hearing, like, I like to listen to tarot readings. I like Minopan Tarot and Baba Jolie, and those are the two main ones I like to listen to. And in both of their readings, there's like sometimes repetition, and it's like Minopan would like, and I'll listen to my rising, my sun sign, and it's like in both of them, it was like, you need to just do something. Don't be perfect about it. And then it came up in other YouTube things that had nothing to do with tarot. It's like, just put yourself out there. Just do what you want to do. Don't worry if it's perfect. And then I went to my circle today, and the whole message was like, well, about being creative and finding your creative self. And it was like, you're creating for yourself. Don't create for an audience. Create for yourself. And then it comes to you. So that's how you hear it, like over repetitive message over and over. So if this isn't making you feel good, listen to that. If the response that I'm getting, because sometimes the universe works in funny ways and gives you messages that are like so like whatever, but to help move you in the direction you need to go, to help push you to listen to your intuition. I look at the complex every other day and it makes me feel like I should be there. So go there. And then promise yourself that when it might be a little bit tighter, I don't feel like destitute and like I'm having to move stuff around. It just feels like a little bit like not a lot left over. Don't panic about it. Trust your intuition, Devery. Trust it. And I know it's hard to be away. Like, I'm estranged from a huge part of my family, and I've got my mom that I talk to and a couple of cousins, and that's it. Like, so I get it. It sucks. It's like it's hard to be away from people. It can feel kind of lonely. And but you can trust your intuition. Okay. Rocked on. I'm gonna go ahead and check PayPal quick. Also added this person to the list and they just bought a reading. Okay. Okay, so, and then Rockdown, you have 2 questions. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. If you want a clarification, because I was kind of rambling, please ask me, Deborah. You are more than welcome to have that clarification, okay? This is not, so go ahead and type that and I'll work. Last year, gone in hospital and assisting mom. On my new year 2022 will be, especially money-wise, major changes in job. Tara, please. Okay. Let's look at 2022 for you. So I just heard money is tight in the beginning of the year, the new year. So, but it feels like it seems to open up around March and then June again. Um, is there like a work anniversary like around May or so that would give you like a raise? Because it feels like there's something, an increase at work coming. And I don't know if you're changing departments because it feels like moving beyond whoever your direct boss is right now. You're always afraid of losing your job. Stop it because you're going to draw it into you. Okay. Believe it or not, like our thoughts really do create our reality, and you're going to draw it in. And certain things flow easier and quicker. And I found like when I'm manifesting things with certain people, like one of my daughters, like she's really susceptible to my stuff. So what is sure? I ramble a little bit and then I lose where you're at. Hi, Champagne. Maybe the change in work. Okay. It's easier said than done, I get it, but the minute, so understand, any of that fear, nagging, anxiety part, that's your, and I've had a couple conversations around this weekend. Um, that's your lower self. So some people are like, "Oh, it's like that part of me that goes, oh, I should do this. This is that old voice in my head." It's like that's your spiritual lower self. That's the part of you that you sort of have to have that conversation with where you're like, okay, I don't need you anymore. You protected me for a long time. Um, Change an apartment, I feel like maybe really starting to seriously look at that in June, but it feels like maybe close to, like, October or November before you actually even, like, kinda move on that. Because I feel like stuff is going on with your mom where you're sort of, like, trying to find the balance of it, and, like, and it sort of kind of overtakes your focus for a little bit. So it's not that it's not possible, and it's not that it's horrible with your mom, it's just, like, when you're, maybe she's moving to like a rehab facility or whatever, it's like just there's so many logistics there that your focus sort of becomes that versus like, oh, I'd like to change apartments. Um, I was rambling about something else and I don't remember what now. I feel like 2022 is better than 2021. It just feels like they say more of the same, but not at such a catastrophic level. Like it doesn't feel like, it feels like just sort of dealing with the loose ends of it. Until you're being asked. Okay. I don't feel like you'll be asked, but it's like there's something about June, like maybe just looking, and that could be your fear or whatever. And then something about October. But it's like, again, my focus is on mom and sort of all of those logistics. So the other thing, I think a big part of I like that, Allie. That's a really good suggestion. But a big part of too, I feel like worked on is what your own lower self, sort of like it's like a defeatist thing. So this is the part of you, this is not your higher self. This is the part of you that goes, "Oh, but you better be careful. You better work. Oh, you don't want to do that. Oh, you got to go jump through that hoop or they're not going to like you." It's like it's that part that sort of is like the negative nagger that you like that's not your higher self talking. That's it's like angsty, it's constant, it's nagging, negative nagger. uh um so it's that part of you. Oh, cool. It's that part of you that doesn't want you to grow. Your higher self, even if it's bad, is like calm, it's cool. Like I've gotten like I have like premonitory, like a premonition dreams. And like I had dreams before I realized you lose so much hair after you had babies. And I was like, just like hair falling out. And then like at 6 weeks postpartum, hair falling out. I had dreams about that. I had dreams about my favorite bar being on fire. But you don't feel like it feels very calm. Oh, that's fine, Albert. I can wait for I can, yeah, I can come back to you. No problem. Um, So try and focus on like when you start to worry about like, oh, they don't like me at work, go, oh no, no, of course they like me. And like be the grown up, like the confident, even if you feel like you're pretending and you feel like you're nuts doing it, when you're reprogramming neural pathways, it feels weird, right? It's just like when you start, if you start to play a new piano piece, or if you start to do a new activity, it doesn't feel natural. Like if you start knitting, like when you first start, which I'm not a good knitter because I lose count, and then everything ends up like, not the right shape. Um, it feels weird until you get the muscle memory. Well, you have to get the brain memory, the subconscious, like where you could do it in your sleep. So you have to start, I don't know, for like one, it's like I'm confident, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm blah, blah, blah. And like those are not things I've ever thought about myself. Like I've never, like ever. I was like, I'm just me. Like, and then I started doing it and I like looked, I was like, oh, you're beautiful. Like, and it was like a natural thing that came out. You have to like reprogram it and you have to do it over and over. And it does feel unnatural. Okay. It does 1,000%. And then you wanted to know about what's the other one? Oh, but Allie, I like that as a suggestion, and it might be a really good thing to do, is look into getting a mentor at work so you feel more confident. And will you be able to lose weight? Um, I feel like you will. I feel like you really need to look into like macros, and I always say this, but I feel like you're actually under eating instead of overeating. And so sometimes when you undereat, it slows your metabolism. And so it's like you need to start really looking at what you're eating, how much you're eating, keep a food diary, start logging it, and look at what you're eating for your weight. And then don't do extreme stuff. Like don't expect, like don't weigh yourself 50 million times because the scale sucks and it's not friendly and it changes with water retention and hormones and all of that stuff. So then it feels like doing your macros, stop weighing yourself, get a measuring tape and do that. Like that's going to be your success, like whether you're moving or not. How your clothes feel, how you feel. We get caught up on looking a certain way or being a certain size or a certain number. And the truth of the matter, it's not that a pound of fat weighs more than a pound of muscle. They each weigh a pound. A pound of fat's a little fluffier than a pound of muscle. So even if you don't lose weight and you're building muscle, you're going to slim down, right? The other thing is that my guides told me this, and I think it's really, really important. And it was like a sort of like, whoa. I went to the beach and I was like feeling, I was like the postpartum mom, not postpartum, but just like not feeling great about my body. And I've always sort of had a like not great relationship with my body. And there's a lot of trauma that's related to that. But and not like eating disorder kind of thing, just not feeling great about my body, not talking kindly to my body. And I sat there on the beach and my guys were like, look around. And we're on the Jersey Shore, not like fist pumping Jersey Shore, just family friendly beach. And they said, look around. And I said, not one body is the same. Not one set of babies' bodies, like the little toddlers running around. None of them looked exactly the same. Nobody's body looks the same. So stop trying to compare yourself or have an idea of what you're supposed to look like or go, oh, I want to look like her. I want to look like him or whatever. Like nobody's is the same. Nobody will lose weight the same. Nobody will gain muscle the same. Like just let that go and celebrate your body for where it's at. Part of moving into a healthier you is learning to love your body for where it's at, and you're like, "Oh, how do I do that?" Whatever, but it's like every woman probably has cellulite, unless you're, I don't know, even sometimes really, really, really super, super skinny people have cellulite because it's the way the fat and the fibers connect in a female body. What are you scared of looking at yourself? Oh, overall health is possible. I am not sure how my health will be feeling too tired. So sometimes we're too tired if we're not drinking enough water. Sometimes we're too tired if we're not getting the caloric, like the good dense calories that we need, right? So if you're eating a lot of like quick burning foods without the fat and then without the protein, you're not going to feel that great. And then if you're stressing out about it, you're going to feel terrible. Hi, Donna Marie. Um, so but they're making me feel like it's like, be gentler, be kinder to yourself, stop comparing yourself. Okay, so there's some body dysmorphia stuff going on, right? So just how your clothes feel. Do it with the idea of not looking a certain way or being a certain way, but feeling good. Like physically feeling good in your body. Nobody's body is perfect. I've got cellulite. I've got rolls. When you sit, like, I've had little kids be like, "Why is my leg spread?" I'm like, "Well, because you have a soft body. If it was hard, it would stay in the same shape, but it's not. Everybody has softness to their body. That's normal." Okay? So, like, it has to go somewhere when there's pressure one way. It's like physics. Um, so be kind to your body. I also was like, I was sort of getting caught up on numbers, and then they're like, you wear a size, and I'm not going to divulge it because it's not neither here nor there. But it's like I was like, oh yeah, it's kind of like ridiculous that I'm like, like I look good. I'm going to just own that and be okay with it, and like move on. And I really am doing. I got to start out my workout challenge thing, but it's really more about my health, and because it helps me with my anxiety and my stress and like not wanting to like hangrify everybody, all of that. Okay? So you're gonna be able to do it, but it's also like stop with the time limits and all of that. It's like just relax about it and find joy in it. Nothing extreme. All right. Linda, you're up. You're welcome. Just checking to see if anybody else purchased. No, mirrors don't attract bad things. There's a lot of interesting superstitions. Once you get time, please talk about mirror. Um, I don't hold that. I just like mirrors are a reflection of me. Just like your life, if you look at manifesting as just a reflection of who you are, right? So but it's not who you are like, "Oh, why are people mean to me?" It's like your belief system's about yourself. And the universe goes, "Oh, you believe that about yourself? Okay, we'll bring you those people that treat you terribly. We'll bring you these experiences where you're worried and struggling for money and not having a great job." Yeah, go ahead, Julia, you can donate. It's $12 a question now. Linda, are you here? Here's the link to pay. I guess KK's not here today. I know she's got family in town. Albert, whenever you find a place, just speak up. So, Linda, are you here? Oh, there you are. Not sure if my mom has early stage dementia. How can I best help her start take better care of herself? What is her first name? I'm actually being drawn to a UTI right now for her. I feel like so in older people, when they get UTIs, they don't necessarily get the burning and frequency with urination. They become disoriented or almost like they have dementia. Um, and I actually feel like that might be what's going on with her because it's a like feeling of like needing to flush water and drink lots of water. Um, Camille. That's what I feel. And the little bit of memory stuff I feel like for her is more noticeable when she's tired. Um, I don't want to call it sundowners because that's really more related to dementia, but it feels like normal kind of aging forgetfulness versus I think it's like there's some kind of I forget what they call the little things in your brain that you get with dementia with Alzheimer's. I don't know if this resonates. Yeah. So that's where I would put it is like it's well, the dehydration goes with needing to drink more water, but I feel like it could actually be like a little bit of a touchy for UTI. So it might not it might benefit to have her go to the doctor and pee in a cup. Yeah. It's hard when someone doesn't want to take care of themselves, but remember, like, it's not push her in the direction of like going to get checked out for a UTI. Just that's sort of where I'm feeling for her. Um, Albert says I want to ask Renee out on a date. Not sure if he's attracted to me in that way. Okay. So I hope that's helpful, Linda. It's hard when you love someone and they don't want to take care of themselves, but I don't feel like it's like a brain health issue, more so just stubborn, and that's probably how she is. Like, never really wanted to take care of herself. And it just feels like it's more noticeable now for you because you're on a little path to be healthier and growing, like, whereas before it was sort of like, whatever. All right, Renee. So Albert, I feel like he does like you, and they're making me feel like he's tends to be a little bit more reserved, and also I feel like he I don't know if he just doesn't read cues very well, or but he just tends to be a little bit more on the reserved side. So, but I feel like it's a go. It'd be okay to ask him out. I feel like because I was like asking personality wise, it's like he would prefer like a smaller, quieter place versus loud and noisy. Um, like he's not a small talk kind of person. So like he would like having existential conversations about life and all of that stuff versus like, I don't know, he's not a surface guy. So it's like much more reserved and I don't want to say like on the spectrum, but it's like, they say people on the spectrum can't really read um some social cues, and it sort of feels like he just misses like, and I also feel like you're sort of reserved in your flirting, so it's like these two people that are like each other, but they're a little reserved about it. And also, like, wanting to be really respectful of boundaries and space, you're both very good about that, so it's like sometimes so but I feel like you're good to go. Does he do photography or something? Because I feel like I keep seeing, like, a bird and then a camera lens. You are reserved. Mhm. He does photography. Okay, so then that's my validation. But photography of, like, does he like to do wildlife, nature stuff? And then Allie and Mallory, you guys are up, and then I think I'm done. Maybe $12 is the way to go, y'all. Oh, Julia, thank you for saying that. That was very helpful, Rakdan. Yes, I've got Julia. Hi, Allie. I was wondering if my guides can tell you where your unconfidence, insecurity. Um, Perfect. Okay. That's why I saw you like walking and then there's like little bird and photography and okay, perfect. So yeah, you're good. And I actually feel like he's a really nice fit for you. Because I feel like he is very introspective and he feels very patient and understanding. Um, he feels very gentle. So feels like a good fit for you. That is a weird question, Mallory. Hold on. Okay. So I'm excited. You have to come back and tell us how it goes, Albert. Um, I think I mentioned you. I was talking about you last week, by the way. Except I might have said green, and if I did, forgive me. All right, Allie. So let's talk about your insecurities. So what's interesting to me is the insecurity I feel around. I kept feeling my throat chakra being really tight because I was like, okay, wait, woo, sorry, got a weird shiver. um, um, around your throat chakra. I actually feel like this is like comes from mom and feeling like a lot of criticism about things that came out of my mouth, and then always like worrying, am I not saying it right? Am I not doing it right? Like there's a lot of stuff with her going on. And then some of it just comes from like there's a natural thing we do where we compare ourselves, especially when we're kids. It's like because it's how we figure out the world. Like everything is like kind of like near far. Like so it's like, well, how am I lining up to this person? And it's something that happens. There's a theory, Dr. Amen said there's the 1840-60 theory, and I don't know if he originated with it, but if it was somewhere else. But um, At 18, you're worried about what everybody else thinks of you. At 40, you don't give a shit what anybody thinks about you, and at 60, you realize nobody cares about you at all. Like, nobody's thinking about you, nobody's worried about you, and, there's truth to that. Like, right around 40, I was like, "Fuck it, I don't care. I just don't care, I need to live my life." And there's also a truth into the 61 because, like, my mom visited when I was living in New York City at one point, and, she's like, "Oh, should I wear these shoes or that shoes? Like, are they, like, cool enough or whatever?" And I was like, "Wear whatever's comfortable on your feet because 'cause we're doing a lot of walking. And don't worry about it because nobody's looking at you." Like, this idea that, like, everybody's like, "Oh, what are they wearing in New York?" I'm like, "They're wearing clothes and shoes. Nobody cares because if the homeless guy down the street can wear bags strapped around him where he looks like a koosh ball, you're good." And nobody bats an eyelash at that. It doesn't matter what you look like. And it sort of feels like some of it is like you're in that stage of life of still trying to figure out how you compare and look where you're at. And a lot of stuff from mom. Hi, silly Billy. And I do feel like some, like, elementary school teasing and middle school teasing, and kids can just be kinda mean. Does this resonate with you, dear? Everybody has insecurities. Everybody has stuff about themselves that they wish, was different or better or stronger or faster or prettier or whatever. But that was, like, the one really cool gift about the body thing I just said is, like, literally, nobody's body looks the same. Nobody loses weight the same. Nobody carries fat the same. Nobody carries muscle the same. Nobody builds muscle the same. Like, literally every single body is, like, its own unique thing. Yeah, and I'm sorry that your mom is like that. It's a pretty toxic way to be, but I think a huge step towards healing is recognizing that that's about her and it's not about you. And my cousin and I were talking about, family dynamics. And as my uncle passed, one of my uncles passed away recently, and there was a funeral. Well, he passed away last month anyway. They didn't have the funeral until this week, and I just itchy nose. And we're just talking about interesting family dynamics, and you have to understand is that when people act and behave in a toxic way, it says nothing about you and everything about them. And you don't always see it, especially as you're younger, because you're sort of caught up in like, this is what's normal and it must be me. And then if you can take a step away from it and start like going, okay, well, this doesn't feel good. And you're still in that phase of like, it doesn't feel good. There's something wrong with me. And then it's like, oh, wait, maybe it's not me. And then you go through the phase of like, maybe I'm misjudging it. There's all kinds of weird things that happen on that path. But if as long as you can at least sort of recognize that it's not about you, like that behavior, and it sucks that you got sucked into that, and you can also pull yourself out of it. Yes, it is hard, but here's the thing, you can do it, and we don't always get the parent we want. I'm, I didn't. My mom I was a latchkey kid, worked my mom worked all the time, and I would get myself up and ready for school and put myself to bed. And she wasn't out partying, she was working her tush off and going to school to get an education to help, like, be able to support us and not have to work these, 3 minimum wage jobs. And so she really wasn't present then, but she is now. And so I'm like, okay, well, I got to give her what I got now, right? And I can't change what that was. And I know that if circumstances were different, she would be able to do different. My father is awful. He's an awful human being. Um, but just because somebody tells you something like, oh, this is who you are, does not mean it's true. And you do have to go and do that's where like the self concept and the affirmations are huge. And it does feel weird and it does feel uncomfortable. And there is a struggle with it at first. And sometimes it takes a while to set in, but you can do it. We all have our own story. We all have a struggle. We all have, not one of us has ever escaped a criticism, a critical mind, our own criticism. Not one of us can say, like, oh, I had a perfect childhood. I have a perfect family. That is the huge gift that this gift has given me, is to understand that every single person has something, and every single person has their story. And we all have a struggle. And it sucks. And and you can talk to yourself in a way that you should have been talked to when you were little, in a loving, kind, respectful way, the way that you deserve. We have 70,000 thoughts a day, and sometimes we get stuck in a rut where we don't say the nice things to ourselves, but you can start to learn to recognize it, and that's a huge step. The fact that you're recognizing it, the fact that you're willing to look at it and go, "Where's this coming from?" That's a huge step. That means you're making your way out of that cycle, out of that 70,000 thought cycle into a new 70,000 thought cycle. But it does come primarily, I feel like, from mom. And then, the world shows up the way you feel about yourself. So if you don't feel good about yourself, the kids at school are going to show up that way too. And in all fairness, that I talk to a lot of my friends too, women don't feel like we're allowed to stand in our space proudly and confidently, like, until we're 40. And I don't know what that's about. It's part of its society and the misogyny that exists. Um, and misogyny is very interesting because there's a lot of women who are misogynistic and don't realize it. And religion teaches us that. So, and it's okay to be emotional. So emotions are not bad, and try not to judge where your emotions are, and try not to judge where you're at in the process, because they just are. And you got to move them through you. So get physical too, to move that energy through you. Look up psoas release, like somatic, somatic, psoas, psoas, release. You store trauma in your psoas. You store tension, heartache, anger, fear, all of that gets stored there. It's a big muscle in your body, and it helps to release it. Um, and be gentle with yourself through the process. And, like, you may get to a point where you're like, yes, I'm beyond it. And then something happens and you're like, no, I'm not beyond it. What is wrong with me? And that's sort of like this like beautiful spiral that happens, right? Like, we just spiral out back around, and we relearn things, and we relearn things, and we learn them from a different aspect. And maybe it's like, oh, well, it's not as bad. Like, I handled it way better this time. I wasn't like down in the dumps for a week. I only was like pissed for a day. Like, and honor that. Be like, yeah, that's progress, because that's progress. Okay. All right, Mallory. You wanted to know about what the thing is on your ring. Oh, I keep seeing like a green. That sounds weird. Was it green? You're welcome, Allie. It's really cool when it starts to come back around, 'cause you're like, I sort of looked at it like, all right, cool. I'm getting more of this garbage out of here. Um, and it doesn't, like, when it first happened, of course, like the first processes of things, like when I was doing healing, I got disappointed, and then I realized, like, it's like, no, it's just like, this is a lot. I held on to it for a long time. So 70,000 thoughts a day times 30 something years, like, that's a lot. So it just takes a little bit to peel it out. Banging noises. What? Wait. Oh, I'm thinking ring, not ring. Ding dong. So I kept seeing like a green, like, I was, like, literally feeling like ectoplasm. So wait, can you send me the video of it? Yes, no? There's Lily on here has I've gotten videos from her before because she's a friend of a friend. Yeah, can you send you can? Okay, email it to me. Let Julia, and then I'll watch it and I'll tell you on here. Julia, are you here? 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 So the thing that I've been obsessed with lately is there are on Instagram these dog things that they can train their dogs how to use these little like button pads with words. Because dogs know words, they know they're familiar. They actually have a fairly large vocabulary, like right, they understand a lot. And like, it's all these, like, little conversations that they have, like, they're talking to their dog, and the dog's like one of them was like, had an owie, and it said, like, "Ouch," and then she was like, "Oh, where does it hurt?" And the dog put its paw up there, and it was like she pulled this little thing out, and she explained what it was. It's some kinda thing that is in the area that they're in, and it can get, like, stuck in their paw, like, almost like a thorn, and, so she pulled that out, and then, like, there's other ones where it's like the dog's worried about the cat that's been missing for 3 months, and it's like asks about where the cat's at, and a totally different dog is like was talking about the rain and called rain water balls. I don't know, it was just really interesting. Okay, you email me the video, and then Julia, I'm gonna look at your dad. Anyhow, um, they're very cool. I'm super, super obsessed. Downloading the file. I know this is gonna sound super non-psychic. It sounds like if it feels like a tree limb, like part of a like a dead part of a tree limb just kind of banging down. That's what it feels like to me. Not fancy. Um, yeah. Were you making salad or old, like, lettuce or something like that? Or like, do you wear a ring? Not like a ring, ring, but like a ring? And I know, but, like, s Silly, did you or, Billy, did you send a payment? They're $12. Um, if you want a reading, I'll do one. So, Julia, let's look at your dad. Yeah. Do you wear a ring? I don't Silly Billy hasn't sent a payment, but I don't know if you're still here. Um, Julia, well, let's look at your dad. Advice for my dad, John. When you're asking that, it's really broad, so what do you want me to look at? Because if there's something specific, work, health, Um, so because of the way I saw the green, I think it's probably just like a part of a tree that broke off that was like it might even have some moss or something like that on it. He keeps discussing his wishes with me for when he dies, and I don't know if I just need to reassure him he's got a long time. He's still here. He does. Okay, thank you. That helps because I'm like, so I do feel like he's a bit depressed. Um, I don't feel like that he's on death's doorstep, but I feel like he's making these like really thinking about it because there's people around him like his age that are all passing. And it's sort of that idea of like, I don't want you to have to make these decisions on your own, which truthfully is very kind. I when I became a nurse, when I was a student nurse intern, I was helping a lot of people die. They gave me a lot of end of life patients. I had a lot of patients, like even like we were supposed to be taking care of patients in the neuro ICU. When one day I was taking care of them, there was all kinds of family drama, and the next day I came in, they're like, "Well, your patient died overnight." So I was like, "Okay," and they're like, "We're not moving the body because none of the families come up here." Like, so it was like my entire clinical that day was like his dead body and then moving his body to the morgue. Um, It just feels like that idea of, like, knowing what you would want and knowing what he would want, so and anyway, so when I started talking to people, and it's like, it is a morbid thing to talk about, and also I wanna do what honors my parents, well, my mom, not fuck my dad, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, but my mom, I want to honor her wherever she's at, so we sorta do, and I was like, "It's not," and I always have to preface this 'cause of what I do, like, "I don't see you dying anytime soon." I don't see him going like that. I don't see him living a long, 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 long time, but I don't see him, anytime soon. And I think it's also part of his peace of mind and wanting to give you the gift of like not having to worry. Like, these are my wishes. This is what I would like. Don't panic. Death is a part of life. And so many people are so afraid and uncomfortable talking about it. Um, it shouldn't be such a taboo thing. It shouldn't be so scary. I don't think he's trying to speed up his departure. It's funny, that's why I was thinking about my Uncle Mike. That makes sense 'cause, he passed away from drinking too much. Um, I don't feel like he's speeding up his departure. Um, I don't wanna give a time frame because I am getting a time frame here, but it's not like months or anything like that. I don't feel like he's speeding up his time, okay? I just feel like sorry, they're like, "Hello?" Um, he does drink a lot, but not like there are some people that start drinking so much that they're like will forget their brain becomes so pickled and like atrophied from the alcohol that they forget that they drank and they'll drink more. Like if they normally wake up and have a glass of vodka or whatever, however you drink it, bottle, uh, they'll forget and they'll go have another one. So I don't feel like he's there, but I do feel like, yeah, he does. Like that would be why they said my grandfather. My grandfather drank he drank scotch, not whiskey, I'm not sure, and beer. Uh, but I also feel like my grandfather drank a ton, like, yeah, um, according to my mother. And he lived pretty long considering how rough he was on his body. That man smoked like, I think like 4 packs a day. Now you try and figure that shit out. Um, he smoked and drank a ton. And like he should have been dead. Like it's like I mean, like we wonder how Mick Jagger is still alive. Like, here's the other thing is like sort of have to and this like part of when you have somebody who has addiction issues in your family or in your life is you have to recognize that um, it is not your responsibility to rescue, save, or anything. And you should not drown trying to do that. It is extremely hard to watch people that you love drink themselves to death or do whatever to death. But at the end of the day, if they do not want to help themselves, there is nothing you can do. I don't feel like he wants to help himself. I feel like major depression. I said that. Um, he still has a couple of years, I think. Okay. But speeding up the departure, no. I mean, he's making the choices as he does it. It's not, it's so a few, like probably 4 to 6 years before my uncle passed, I saw myself in a dream in my grandmother's house because that's where he ended up purchasing her house after she passed. And it was weird. And I remember telling my sister about it. I think it was my sister I told about it. I was like, I was in Gami's house. And it was really weird because it was like there was some Agami stuff there, like some of her furniture, but then there was like a random couch. It's like ugly couch. It just didn't fit. Like my grandmother had tons of antiques. It did not fit the style that of my grandmother's taste. So it was like this ugly thing. I was like, there's a camping chair in the middle of the floor, and the floor was like this ugly tile. I don't know what was going on with it. And there was a big TV in the kitchen, and my grandmother never, like, she only had ever like tiny little, I think she had a 13-inch TV, like nothing. Like, we'd watch the Golden Girls and who is that other little detective lady? Anyway, we'd watch that. And I was like, it was weird. My grandmother always had like little, like parquet flooring, like the little wood squares. And this floor was like cheap, not real saltillo tile, like peachy colored, not a good color. And it just didn't fit the style of my grandmother's house. So I had that dream 4 years ago. Well, my uncle just recently passed, and his daughter was visiting, and she walked me through because I was like, oh, I want to see Gami's house because I hadn't seen it since 2003. And it was exactly like my dream. So, did my uncle speed up his death by drinking so much? Um, no, I think it was in the cards, and I feel that the same with your father. So, if you can relieve yourself of that pressure and relieve yourself of that guilt or feeling that you can somehow fix it or save it or whatever, you can't. So if he's talking about those things, listen to him, honor him, be like, yeah, thank you for letting me know. Like that's what you want because I want to honor you. Um, Sometimes the best thing you can do for somebody is just let them know that you love them and then let the cards lie where they are. You cannot fix him. You cannot change him. You know, this idea of like when people have like alcoholic parents are like, why wouldn't they just get sober for me? Did they love me enough? It's not about you. Um, it's not about you. It's their own stuff that they're not dealing with, that they're not processing. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you feel some peace with that. You should feel peace. Like that's the way, if you ever get a private reading from somebody, you should feel good when you leave it. You should not feel like garbage or you're cursed or the world's going to fall apart. If you get a reading from somebody like that, it doesn't mean that they're not psychic. It means that they're not coming from a place that's for your best intent. And maybe you found me because I have a family full of substance abuse issues. And I am not one of them. I have all kinds of rules around. Even when I was like, I haven't had a drink in a while because mostly because it doesn't I can't sleep when I drink. And so like I love my sleep and I don't get enough of it because I have little kids, but I'm not against it. I don't think like, oh, I'll never have one or I can't handle it. Um, but even when I like in college, I was like, I won't drink if I have a bad day. I won't drink if I have to work in the morning. I won't drink. I had all these rules around it because I never ever wanted to become addicted and I never ever wanted to ever have anybody think that that was more important than them. It was like a very conscious decision around drinking. So, and drugs never interested me. I mean, I've smoked pot, like whatever, but drugs, like real drugs, never really interested me because I see enough energy on my own. I don't need to see tracers and all of that other stuff. I do that without those. All right. So let's see. Billy, are you here? Are you here? If you're not, I will say good night. We still have some spaces open for my psychic development circle. If any of you are interested in developing and connecting with your own intuition and learning how that language and how to create it, that will be on Tuesday nights. It's a 6 week cycle. Um, I think that's it. I have private readings. I'm doing these. Follow me on TikTok. Hi, Devery. Thanks for always being you. Like, truly, because as you know, I worry and stress, but to know, even though the financial side will be tight, yes, you will be okay. You'll be okay. And you can manifest it to not be so tight. You got this. Happiest New Year to you. Oh, I'm going to do like a live prediction thing. I think it's going to be live because I don't, because when I record things, I go, ugh, and I like redo it. And here, I don't care if I say ums and scratch my head and whatever. So, if there's anything you want to know about, somebody asked about like the markets. Somebody else asked about Governor Abbott and Beto O'Rourke. So I'll come on here. I'll leave a little note. Mirror thing anytime, please. Okay. So you're wanting to know if there's curses or if it's a bad luck thing. No. Um, I think mirrors can be really beneficial in many ways. Like, so if you get a mirror, stick up on it like affirmations you're going to say to yourself every morning or every time you look in it. And it don't, you have to make a conscious decision not to talk negatively about yourself. Um, Like if you say, "I'm weird," I'm weird. I'm totally weird. I'm totally a goofball. I'm a weirdo. I've got all kinds of little quirks and things and whatever, but I totally love myself for it. And I'm like, I own them, and it's what makes me me. What's what makes me unique. It's what, like all my goofy sensory things, like my like needing things to be really soft, like my clothes are all pretty soft. Um, I also, if I wasn't sensitive like that, then I wouldn't be sensitive enough, I think, to connect in the way I do. So don't be afraid of mirrors. It absolutely can help you in manifesting. So when I look in the mirror now, I'm like, I'm a boss. I'm a badass. Like say those things. I am successful. I am creative. I have great ideas. My opinions matter. It's okay for me to take up space. I am powerful. I am kind. I am unique. Um, and you're not, when you say those things, like when you're so used to like all the negative 70,000 negative thoughts, when you say those things to yourself, it feels really uncomfortable. And it feels like, oh my God, am I going to be a narcissist if I say things about myself? Am I like totally conceited and full of myself? No. And it's okay to celebrate yourself. I think it's very strange that we're in a society where it's okay to completely tear yourself down, but it's not okay to say like, hey, I'm doing a really good job. So, it's okay to say, "I'm doing a really good job," and then, like, look at yourself and say, "You know what? My boss really likes me. My boss thinks I have great ideas. My boss thinks, like, do those things because I know that that's a struggle for you at work." It's like, "Oh, they don't like me, blah, blah, blah." It doesn't matter, and even when somebody is, like, kind of behaving in a way that I'm not in love with, like one of my kids, I go in my head, I go, "Oh, that's not the real story. The real story is like," so to stop myself from going to the old story of like, "Oh my God, all these terrible things are gonna happen. Oh, they're gonna have a tantrum. Oh, they're gonna have," like, no, the real story is they're just processing what they're doing. It's gonna be okay. They're gonna relax. They're gonna calm down. It's all gonna be good. Like, everything is mind over matter, and you can see this if you start, like, really understanding mindset, and you'll see it in all different areas, psychology, psychiatry, you're gonna see it with, life coaches, you're gonna see it with fitness coaches, the even, I mean, I'm just seeing it pop up with so many people now about your mindset and your affirmation, and there's studies that show the people who believe that they can do well actually do better than those that feel negative about themselves. Debbie, yeah, I struggled at this job for real. You're right. It's true. Um, you're going to look around the world and see plenty of people who are not qualified for the job, but they just think the world of themselves, and they're like, "Ah, I got this. I'm good." Um, and I really do believe at a point, it's really about your self talk, how you talk to yourself, how you think about the world. It's all about mindset. All right, lovies. Happy New Year. I'll come back on it. If you have any questions that you want me to ask, like either be with me on the live or type it in a little, I'll post a little thing in the community section. You can type your question up. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I will see you later.